Good evening. Hope everybody's doing okay this evening. Just a little bit afternoon, Eastern time. I'm going to move as quickly as I can. I'm actually, if you read the title, you see that I'm about to make cheese biscuits. I've already grated up 1 stick of butter. You know, to see the grapes. You can use, in real butter, you can use margarine, shortening, whatever you want to use. If you hear that little whistle in the back, that's the oven preheated at 475. The reason for cooking biscuits pretty fast, depending on how hot and how fast your biscuits, your oven heats up. So I've got mine on 475 so they won't cook real slow and dry out. So I have about 2 cups of flour here. Any kind, any brand of self-rising flour. Any brand, it doesn't matter. So that's what I'm using. I've already grated up, like I said, the butter into it, and I'm gonna like mash it up and pull it back a little bit. You can see what I'm doing better. My videos are usually pretty long, and as I always say, if you can't stay during the entire time I'm making the biscuits, just come back when the live ends. And the live is ended when you see was live, or the live word at the top of the screen be grayed out or something. Okay, so like, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe and comment. Make some type of comment so they won't be counting my my views as bots. And that's what I find that YouTube has been doing. If they get a lot of views, and I do get a lot of views, but they don't, you know, if they're saying if no one says anything, then they'll just hold them up before they release them, because they assume that they're bots and not real views. So you guys want to count as a real view. I would appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, as I said, to please subscribe to my channel. Okay, so I'm going to move along pretty fast. I've got at least 2 cups of flour, and it depends on how many biscuits you're going to make, and you're going to do the same thing if you were making plain biscuits without the cheese. So before I can do the cheese, actually I'm going to also put sour cream. You don't have to use sour cream. You only need a little butter or shortening and milk when you make biscuits. You don't need all this extra stuff. I'm just accustomed to using it. I don't want to use it leave it in the refrigerator for so long. So I'm just eyeballing about 2 large heaping spoons of sour cream. You could use any brand of sour cream. Of course, I like the Daisy. And then you're going to mix all of that up together. I notice some people, when they make biscuits, they make what you call a well in the flour and put their hands in all that mushy stuff. I actually don't like putting my hands in the dough until it gets pliable to the point where I can pick it up without a lot of it sticking to my hands. And if you join in and the video has gone forward, just back it up once the live goes off, and you can look at the entire video. It doesn't matter, again, what brands you use. I don't promote any particular brand. So as long as it's self-rising, then you don't have to worry about whether you're using enough baking powder to make it rise if you use plain flour. So this is buttermilk. Again, no particular brand. This just happened to be from IGA, but any brand of buttermilk. You don't want to use buttermilk, you don't have to use buttermilk. You can just use plain milk. You can make biscuits with water, but just keep in mind the biscuits are going to taste pretty plain if you don't use some type of milk. And I'm used to making biscuits, so I'm eyeballing it. If any of you need some type of exact measurements to go by, if you've never made biscuits before, if you comment that you need the ingredients, the exact measurements, I will comment back and send them to you. Okay? See, so that's what it looks like. I'm still not going to put my hand on it right now because it's going to stick. And so now I'm going to come back and go back with some more flour because this has gotten the way I want it to be. So I'm coming back with some more flour. My little phone holder here going crazy, turning every which way. So I go back with another cup, and that will probably make it about 2.5 cups because that cup wasn't quite full. And what I'm doing now is getting the dough to the point where I can pick it up with my hand, or I can handle it with my hand without getting all of that stuff on my fingers. I see a lot of people do it, but I don't care to have all of that sticking on my fingers. Make sure your hands and your fingernails are nice and clean. You know, even if you're just making biscuits for yourself, you don't want to put germs in your own body. So you see how it's gotten? Now I'm at the point where it's still going to stick to my fingers a little bit, but I'm going to go in with some flour and try, because I'm at the point where I need to pick this dough up. But I'm still going to go in with some flour here. Okay, and you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm really touching the dry flour and kind of kneading it into the roll of flour that I just put together, the dough. And you would do the same thing if you're making biscuits. And you don't knead it a whole lot, but I knead mine until I feel like it's right. You do have people that feel like if you knead it too much, the bread is going to be tough. But I knead it until I feel like it's right. Okay. And I'm not going to put out a biscuit. Well, I guess I will today. I usually just roll it on the counter, on the countertop. But I am going to just get a cutting board and put it on there. I don't usually use a biscuit cutter, but I have a vegetable cutter that I'm going to cut these with. Really being that I'm making cheese biscuits, I really don't need to cut anything. I can just break it off and fold my cheese into the biscuit. Is what I'm about to do here. You see that? So that's what I was doing. You probably couldn't see what I was doing. Kind of like getting it to the point I can hold it without all that dough getting all over my fingers. Okay? And then there it is. So now I'm gonna cut the cheese. Should have already done that, and that would have saved some video time. But here's the cheese. This is called hoop cheese. That's hoop cheese. So those that have just jumped on, I actually just made biscuit dough. You can back it up when the live ends. When the live goes off, just back it up. I've got my dough where I can knead it, cut it off, cut out biscuits. But I'm making cheese biscuits out of this hoop cheese. And good morning. Hello there. Yes, I'm making cheese biscuits. Yes, hello, Maxine, I believe. Thank you for joining, Maxine. You probably already know how to make biscuits, but if you don't, just back the video up, and you will make biscuits the exact same way that I'm making these cheese biscuits. You make your dough first, and now I'm gonna just put some cheese inside of the biscuits. I knew I should have opened this before I started this live because I just end up wasting a lot of time trying to get it out of the packet. Come For real. It's shrink wrapped and it's in here good, but I think I got it coming now. Yeah. Yep, thank you for joining, Maxine. These are old-fashioned, and you can also, some people make their biscuits first, and then after the biscuits get done, they cut the biscuits open and put cheese in the biscuits. After then, but I'm making the biscuit with the cheese. I'm going to actually let the cheese bake inside of the biscuit. So I'm going to just do about 4 of them right quick, if I can ever get this paper for the cheese out of the way. I won't start that again unless I already have it. I already have the cheese open. Now this is a little aggravating. Then it's time consuming when you gotta walk around and find stuff that you should have already had in place. Okay, so I've got the cheese. This thing was shrink in here. Look, I finally got it out. And then you see the rim around it. That's what they call hoop cheese. And usually this just peel off with your finger, but I see it's not peeling off with the finger, falling all in my dough. So I'm gonna have to cut the rim off the cheese, cause I'll be messing with this all morning. It's very good. I mean, you can put any kind of cheese in your biscuit, but this makes very good. This is the type of cheese biscuits they eat in the South. The type that I like. When you know it. But anyway, what I'm going to do, you see this, I'm going to get a cutting board. Get another knife, because I dropped the other one. I'm going to butter my, put a little flour on the cutting board. I guess you can see, I just floured the cutting board. I usually just throw my dough right on the counter. Just make sure your countertop is clean. And then you don't want to damage your countertop by cutting on it either. So this is going to be enough to make, more than enough really, to make 4 cheese biscuits. And I've got it kind of thick here. So I'm going to slice it in half. And put this inside the dough. Down here they have the country restaurants that make cheese biscuits. And they just don't care about them being pretty. And mine probably not going to be pretty either, but they are really good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, you see my dough. I really don't roll my dough. You probably see me smashing the dough down. Really unnecessary to even do all of this for cheese biscuits. But that's what I'm doing. Turn it over. Hopefully you can see it a little bit. You can see what I'm doing. I don't want to use a biscuit cutter today. I don't have a biscuit cutter. I usually just use a glass. but I'm going to mash it enough because I'm going to use 2 pieces of this dough. See what I'm doing, hopefully. And I'm going to grab this biscuit. It's really a green cutter. Come on, gang, turn back around here. Trying to show you all of my junk on the other side. See, this, you can chop up collard greens with this, but you can also cut your biscuits with it. I hope you can see me. Let me see. So when I take it down, well, I think you can see it a little better now. You just mash your dough out, and then you just go on around and cut. And when I'm making biscuits, if I wasn't making cheese biscuits, I like my biscuits thick. I probably wouldn't mash my dough this much. Okay. I had to watch that little red stuff on the cheese. It's trying to. Okay. If you're still looking. But everything that I'm touching is ending up on the floor. Look. So there are the biscuits. So now what I'm going to do, pull the biscuit out and flatten it a little bit more. And then, depending on how much cheese you want in the biscuit, I'm going to put those pieces you saw me cut, put it in the center of the biscuit. And then you're going to go back and get another piece of bread. I actually believe I made them too thick. And you close that cheese right up in that biscuit. See how I go around it and seal it? And the cheese is inside of the biscuit. And you talking about something good. They're usually very good. And of course, I know my cheese is going to run on the outside of the biscuit. See that? So I'm going to go ahead and cook it. I don't know if I'm going to stay online and keep you guys online that long. But this one, I'm going to make it a little smaller. Just by mashing it out a little bit more. And then maybe I usually have some old country sausage as well. And to me, it's still gonna not be like I want it to be if I just put one piece in there. So I'm gonna take another biscuit. Biscuit didn't have to be cut out this time either. But I did all the extra work for nothing. See that? I'm going to go ahead and put these 2 in the oven because it's possible I may be able to show them to you instead of making another video. This one is sealed a lot better than the last one. You see? And it's going to be a big old biscuit. And then this one, I think I'll just go ahead and make this one a fold-over type biscuit. There's some of the ends I had with the other biscuit, just so I can hurry the video up. But the biscuits really could stand to be a lot smaller than these. I went ahead and cut them out as if I was going to make biscuits, just plain biscuits, because I like my biscuits big. But I really shouldn't have made them that big, because these are just going to be cheese biscuits. And then it's hard for me to just do it with just... The only thing I'm doing is mashing the dough out. Mashing the dough out and then I'm coming back with the top. So I didn't really need to cut to do this. Just made a lot of unnecessary work for myself. Okay. And that pan, I don't think it's going to be big enough. So I'm going to get the pan that I normally use. I was just doing stuff different this morning, today. Because it's evening, not morning. You can make potato jacks like this, guys. But I fry my potato jacks on the stove. So I'm going to get a bigger pan. Look at that. Have you ever seen a biscuit that big? Look at it. So I'm going to put it in this flat pan here that I have. Pinch it together so when the cheese starts melting, the cheese won't run out. I had it in a pan that wouldn't need to be sprayed, but I better spray this pan. If you're going to use cast iron, I would recommend that you spray the cast iron. The other pan that I was going to use wouldn't have needed to be sprayed. Yeah, because they have a tendency to stick to cast iron. And most likely I will turn my oven down to maybe 450, because this cast iron, once this cast iron gets hot, it's going to hold a lot of heat, and it may burn the biscuits up before they actually get done. So there's another one. And they were a little too big to cook them in the pan that I already had them in. I didn't intend to make them this big. Okay, they're big. I didn't intend to make them that big. Maybe they won't be too ugly. And there they are. And they're cheese biscuits. Yeah, they make gigantic cheese biscuits down here in the South. So, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to turn this down to 450, because that cast iron get hot, it's going to like really cook it a little bit too fast. So depending on how old your oven is or how much heat your oven holds, what temperature you need to set it on. So if you know your own oven, just be careful with it. I made a mess up here. You know, it's not easy trying to film stuff that you do. But you know that? It's a job. People that do it for a living, it's not as easy. I guess when they get famous on YouTube or social media, I can tell some of them don't care what they video once they get going. But it's not easy. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of things you really need to have already in order before you even turn on that camera, in which I thought I had everything in order, but I didn't. Apparently I didn't. I made these biscuits too big, and so I'm not putting cheese in these. So I usually just put these in the freezer, because I do freeze enough biscuits. I'm gonna put this pan here in the freezer and freeze them and put them in a bag where I save my other biscuits. And then when you're cooking a regular meal and you just want to have regular biscuits, you just pull them out of the freezer just like you would do if you were to go buy bag biscuits. And bag biscuits can't touch these biscuits, if you know what I mean. You make your own biscuits, you won't ever want to buy bag biscuits again. So after I've cut out, move all the biscuits and cut out all the biscuits I'm going to cut out, then I just take the pieces, you know, that were around the biscuit and put them together, and then you cut however many more biscuits you can cut out. And you can use a glass, just don't break the glass in your hand. Now, I would say this thing here is a little big, but since I made the other ones big, I'll go ahead and make this big. And you get ready to, I already have some in the freezer. You get ready to cut them, you already got them cut out. See that? Just plain biscuits. See, now those pieces that I cut out, you just put them together and cut just as many biscuits as it'll let you cut. So, you see, even though it looked raggedy, I'm going to cut one more biscuit out of this piece, because these are the ends around the bread that I cut out. And then that's really going to be it. And it usually, tell you the truth, a glass will cut better than this thing, because this thing has teeth. But it still works. See, there's the last biscuit. So I did have 4 extra biscuits. The dough that you saw me with made those 4, let me see, 5, 6, 9 large biscuits, you know. More than 9, really, because on the cheese biscuits, I have actually joined 2 biscuits together. And so that would be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 biscuits total. And then what I do with that little piece of dough you saw, I don't throw that away either. I just have me a little small biscuit, and I'm gonna put these in the freezer and I put them in the bag with the other frozen biscuits. Like I said, make biscuits and you will save so much money from making your own biscuits versus buying a bag biscuit. And plus, they taste so much better. So, let's see if you got a few minutes to hang on. I can come back and you can come back and look at the video. Those biscuits are going to be done probably in another 8 minutes. So it will be at least 8 minutes before I can pull them out of the oven and you can see me break them loose with that cheese in them. So just hold on just a bit while I clean up this mess. Have you ever made biscuits? Ever made biscuits on your own? Maxine, I believe you're still on there. Have you ever made biscuits, or you just buy your biscuits already made? Okay, I got a mess here. Where's my dish rag? Yeah. I'm going to make some peanut butter balls. Not today, but I'm going to make sure I try to have everything in order so I won't have to be running around here sweating and not having this at hand. You need to have everything you're going to use right at hand. If you got something that needs to be open like that cheese just then, it needs to be already open, because it is a lot of work. You know, you're trying not to make the videos too long, and they're always going to be too long if you're not prepared. And I'm guilty of not really having everything completely in order. Again, like I said, I'm fairly new at this. But since I retired, you know, it gives me something to do. So there's no reason why I shouldn't be a little bit more prepared, you know, before I go live at least. I'm trying to get my material together that I want to talk about. You know, I already know what I want to talk about concerning relationships. That'll be a video. I won't have to do anything but sit and look at you guys. You know. So I need to do that so I won't have to just, you know, if you know anything about social media, you gotta have something on there constantly. They'll figure you're slack, you're lazy, you're not worth the time or whatever. I got flour all over the floor. Slinging stuff everywhere. But anyway, I'm moving right along. Yeah. Okay. Nobody said anything. I don't know if everybody's gone. But just wanted to know if any of you make your own bread, make your own biscuits. You can save a lot of money unless you just don't like bread. And then your bread is going to taste way better than that bread you buy out of the store. They can't touch it with a 39.5-foot pole. I think the Grinch said that. And I love cartoons. I love to look at cartoons. Christmas plays and stuff, I love to look at them. Children now just sit around with their phones in their face. They don't know what they're missing. See, I had to rush and open this cheese. See this cheese? Now I got to clean the cheese up that's left over. So just, if you're there or if you're not there, make sure you just hang on and fast forward if you're somebody that's going to come back after the live go off and look at the biscuits on the end. But I got to give them time to cook. And unlike when I make a video and save it in my camera, see, I'm using up my camera space too fast. But videoing and saving in your camera means you got to go back. I could stop the video at a certain point, like at this point now where I'm waiting for the biscuits to cook. And then I could go back and start another video, start until I'm done. And then I go, you know, like export it over to CapCut, put it in CapCut, cut out what I don't want in there. And then I'll have one video that I could share on all the platforms that I have. But when I'm videoing and I'm streaming through YouTube or maybe just streaming through Facebook, I can't do that. You know, I can invite people over to look at each channel, but I can share them individually if I put them together in my camera, but it's using up so much of my camera space. And then those videos that say, you know, space savers to make space, save space on your camera. Those people advertising that's not working for me. I've tried that to save space. They will actually finger the older people and say things like, well, if you're going through deleting all of your videos, you're just doing the wrong thing. Go buy this and buy. That's just a lie straight out of hell. I've tried it both ways. I'm very tech savvy. And even when I buy theirs, you still got to go through all of it and decide what you want to delete versus what you don't want to delete. And it's still not saving you any space. Yeah, I tried it because it would have been worth it to me if it had worked like they claim it will work, but it doesn't. Not for me. Those are some of the biggest biscuits I ever seen. They're rising and getting close to being ready. So, like I said, if you guys come back when the live end, just fast forward to the part where you can see the biscuits. And if they're looking really bad, see, there's some cheese. You can eat it like that. This kind of cheese, you see, it actually has cloth on it. Look at that. And it makes the best cheese biscuits you could ever lay your mouth on. I got flour on it. I guess I'll eat that piece. But I had a time of struggle trying to open that cheese up. It was really vacuum sealed. That it was. Okay, putting everything back up in the refrigerator for the next time. This makes good dip. Make you some dip out of that and get you some Ruffles and dip it with, maybe I'll make some of this. This right here, you talking about some good dip, and then you make it strong as you want to. Use this. I wouldn't suggest use the off-brand, but you can. This makes some very good dip. Really, party dip. A good snack to just sit around watching television. So I'll make some of this for you guys. You give me something quick video. You don't sit on the video forever and a day. I look at long videos, but I'll just fast forward after I look at it for a while and go get to the punch. And if I think I missed something, I just back and forth, and that's what you guys can do here until you get to the part you want to get to. You don't have to sit and watch a 45-minute or an hour-long video. There's a way around it. But I appreciate the view. And I appreciate your subscriptions for sure. I know I won't be able to open this. These little zip pads, like once you open that cheese, my husband can come right in here and open these bags up. I can never open them. See that nail right there? I broke that nail off just before I started making the biscuits. And if I hadn't, I wouldn't know if the nail was in the biscuits. The nail might have been in the biscuits. But I saw the nail when I broke it off. So squeeze all of the air out of the bag, and now put this cheese back in the freezer. See? And the flour, put this back. I like to pour my flour out of the bags, put them in a container. Mia. YouTube reminds us to guard our privacy. I guess you can meet so many crazy people on here. You know, I mentioned that I live in North Carolina, and well, if somebody want to go out there and go all over North Carolina and they try to find me, more power to them, but you can never be too safe. That's a fact. Yeah. You can never be too safe. There are some crazy people. The news is on now talking about a guy that killed his own children. Killed all 3 of his children. The sad thing is, I mean, something's got to be wrong with a person that would do that, wouldn't you think? A person could have just been really depressed. I don't know if it was bad for those kids, because probably leading up to the point where he actually killed them, it's no telling what they went through. But the biscuits are getting there, so you guys is back because I didn't see anybody else come on. I think everybody's gone. But the biscuits are already, this is what I'm talking about. About when you use a cast iron pan, the bread actually cooks too fast. It cooks too fast in this pan. But they're ready. And mind you, the sooner you get them out of this pan, the better. See that? You ever seen any cheese biscuits that big? Look at that. The burn is coming through my hand, so hold on. You ever seen any cheese biscuits this big? I'm gonna break one and then I'm gonna end the live. Look at that. And I made them big on purpose. But they are cheese biscuits. And they are gonna be really delicious. I'm actually gonna put some bacon on them. I'm gonna try and break one right quick for you. Get them out of off this cast iron. Cause what they do, they cook too fast on the cast iron, which is why I don't like to cook them. I don't like to cook them on cast iron. Cause they definitely, once that cast iron gets hot, boy, you can think it's you can think that cast iron is cool if you want to. But it keeps on cooking them for a while, so that's why when the biscuits get done, you need to take them off the cast iron ASAP. Good. And they're so hot. Ooh, they're a little bit too hot for me to break and show you how the cheese spread. But these are delicious. Trust me, they are. But there you have it. I want to be able to break it a little bit so you can see all that cheese, all that goodness. Look. Okay? So I'm going to end this live. You guys have a great rest of your day. And do subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.